Hey, I'm Dr. Pilet, and I want to talk to you about being a father. What is it to be a father? You know, and I think the first thing you have to realize is that there's a lot of us out there that are in the positions of fatherhood in families where we're not biologically connected to the children that we oversee. That we have, in fact, we take on the role of being a father. You know, so when you tend to look at the definition of a father, we tend to look, if you will, in the dictionary, that it talks about a male who is biologically responsible for the offspring. Okay? And so when you take on, in that sense, through marriage or through intimate relationship, that you are the father of a child, then that puts you into that definition. But at the same time, I've had men, if you will, that had a brief interaction. The lady was pregnant. He moved on, never to return again. And as that woman pressed on with her life, she found other partners that took on a position of father. So the challenges of being a biological father to members of your family that are biologically connected to you are a little bit different from when you're, in fact, a blended family, somebody outside. So let me talk about some of those characteristics of being a good father, because I'd like to start off there, especially when you have the genetics and DNA, because that gives you an advantage where my offspring, remember A plus B equal? AB. Yeah, AB. So just the fact that genetically we have similar facial experiences, body, if you will, contours, that we may even talk through gestures similarly. We have some wiring to our brain where we have some connection about emotions. It makes it a little bit easier to be in that role of father. All of us know that strange feeling you have when you're holding this baby for the first time. I remember to myself when Tyler came home, I felt so unprepared to change diapers. I'm thinking to myself, how can they let you just take this baby home? I don't know what I'm doing. But there is that biological desire to want to overcome whatever those obstacles are and to learn that. You know, part of being the if you will, the biological father is you were there from the beginning, and the baby coming home and the establishment of the household, and you get to be a part of that baby growing. You get to be a part of that witness. So as that child is growing, you're always there. And so there's that natural tendency to bond to you, because remember, you're holding. What does a child hear when you hold them? They hear your heartbeat. They hear your respiration. They're connecting to you. They're learning communication style right from the very beginning, because they are part of your life. And the support mechanisms of that child in your life, that whole idea about the home, the bedroom, the crib. You might have your grandma, your mom coming over, so the child has an extended family with grandparents. There's the establishment of holidays and Christian beliefs that all are embedded into that growth process. And if you will, one more thing that gives you sort of the upper advantage when you are a biological father is you are integral in the establishment of the 4 R's. You're there from the very beginning, establishing yourself in the role of father, right? From the very beginning, you're setting up the rules as the child grows. You know, the rules of a 6-year-old aren't the same as the rules of the 13-year-old. The idea about when you can watch TV and how is homework to be done and what does your bedroom look like to be, rules. The notion of rituals, Christmas rituals, how we bring those into our life. I don't know about you guys, but I get real excited about that. So I got Christmas trees, and here comes Santa Claus. And if you saw my Christmas video, which was out there, we put together a 2-minute video that's out there on YouTube, if you will. It's also on my Facebook page. And then, of course, the routines of the household. Routines, fixing dinner, you know, buying groceries, the things that you do that are chores necessary for the maintenance of the family. Now, all those are embedded, and they give you an advantage when you're a biological father. So I'm going to back up one more reason, if you will, and I'm going to give you 7 things that good fathers should look for in their quality as they try to pursue this. And one is, big thing, when I'm trying to evaluate you, are you or do you have the potential to be a good father? The one thing I want to see more than anything else is you have a strong desire to emotionally connect to your child. I'm asking you. I'm observing you. Do you have a strong desire to be emotionally involved with your kid? I work with a lot of guys that are workaholics. And their belief system is, you know, mom will take care of the kids, and when they're old enough to play, I'll go play. That ain't it, guy. That's not the strong emotional desire. That's not what I'm looking for. But when I see you at a very young developmental stage in that child's life, being actively involved in that child that's learning to walk and learning to talk, strong emotional desire. Number two, the idea that you want to have a strong mentorship that's based on interaction. You know, we often talk about role models and mentors. Role models are people you read about. Mentors are the people that give you hands-on experience. They're the people that are with you when you learn how to ride your bike. Mentorship. They're the people that are with you when you're trying to overcome the challenges of life, learning how to walk, learning how to run, learning how to kick a soccer ball. Mentorship. I'm going to walk the walk with you. I'm going to be there as you go through life. When I see men that place a high priority in maintaining their presence, not just in mentorship, but also just in those times where you just got to stand tall. You know, being a father isn't always about we go play ball. There's times that you're just the custodial parent. There are times that you're just there because mom's got to work, the kids are sick, you know, and I got to knuckle under. I got to be there to be the safety valve. I got to be there to maintain the household. Yeah, I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing the laundry. I'm running the vacuum cleaner. I'm present. I'm maintaining my presence because whether you realize it or not, your children begin to see you in that presence and they begin to, I love to do this, they begin to outwardly acknowledge, there's dad. See, that's warm energy coming your way. There's dad. I love having dad in my house. I'm going to give dad some positive energy. Another thing I look for is, if you will, most of the guys I work with, they really want to be a good father, but they really lack in problem-solving skills that are related to the child's developmental tasks. Problem solving. You know, I'm not really worried about what the problem is. I'm worried about what's the solution. And yet the truth is, a 4-year-old that's first learning how to ride a bike, you know, and a 16-year-old that's getting ready for final exams in high school all have emotional perturbations that are different. My daughter is absolutely going crazy because she saw an earthworm on the sidewalk as she's walking and going nuts. Ah! Well, you know, again, for me, whatever it's worth, I'm going to sit back and say it's just an earthworm. Don't pick it up, Daddy! Don't pick it up! You know, no problem solving. It's just a worm. Look at it. It's fine. Overcome. It's okay. The anxiety will go away. Look. Pet the worm. Let's give him a name. His name is Bobby. Look at the worm. Oh, I like Bobby. Let's put him in a jar. Let's bring him home. No, I don't want to bring the worm home. Now I got worms all over the bedroom now because we overcame but the other phobias that we have, social phobias. You know, I'm not going to tell you that I'm often astonished how I've got a daughter who loves to be on stage, and give her any reason to run on stage with a microphone and she's there. Doesn't matter. Unabashed. No way to explain how she's not even remotely embarrassed to be in front of people. Meanwhile, my son, at an early age, and he's worked through it today, if there was any stage performance involving his classroom, would find a tree to stand behind. And even though there would be the Christmas play or the, the spring get-together, what do they call it, the fall festival, whatever, fall festival, I never could find him because he would find a place to hide. Interesting, problem solving. How do I take a child that has absolutely no desire to be in front of people and try to bring him up with self-esteem and self-worth to be proud, and I got another child that what are you doing? And again, if you look at my Facebook page, you'll see when we were down in Key West, she was running on stage singing with the guy, and I'm like, come on, get over here, get off the stage, my God, what are you doing? But that idea that you have problem-solving skills. The notion that you're going to invest in resiliency is one of those other factors. Resilience, the ability to persevere through adversity. I get a lot of dads that absolutely go ballistic when they find out their son or daughter had a failing grade. Go nuts. Absolutely, blackout. I can't believe this is happening to me. But the bad grade in school is evidence of a problem more than it is the problem. Do you understand that? I had a parent not long ago that said, you guys aren't playing baseball to the twins. You're not playing baseball anymore. Pull them out of baseball because they flunked math. Well, that knee-jerk, baseball was the thing they lived for. But the homework and the poor performance of the homework was a parental problem. If you're not checking your child's homework, if you're not dialoguing with the teacher, you got the problem, not the child. When you ask a child what the purpose of life, they're always going to tell you to have fun. Children are love, fun sponges. That's all they want to do. But if you want to get them in the right direction, you don't take away the fun, love thing as a penalty. You hold it as a consequence. If you do good in school this week, you play ball next week. And you always keep the carrot dangling in front so that the child is always motivated to the accomplishment of the thing that they really want to do. We call that positive consequences. And so that's the other thing that I like to see. The emphasis on positive reinforcement and, of course, the usefulness of negative consequences versus punishment. Absolutely vital if it's something you want to do as a dad. And then finally, the last thing that I want to think about is your strong desire to display an appropriate model that launches your child into society. An appropriate model that launches your child in society. Don't tell me because you're smoking weed that you're going to go ahead and smoke weed with your son. That's bullcrap. I don't want to hear it. And don't tell me your 22-year-old living at home with his baby mama, because where will he go? Don't tell me. You have to invest, if you will, an appropriate standard to launch your child, because just like you, your job is to get out there, get a job, make money, pay rent, pay utilities, and do whatever is necessary to move on. So you have to have not just an ethical standard, but a moral standard. And sometimes, you know what? You can't be the best friend to your own children. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to step back. And I've said this with my own son. I said, you know, son, sometimes I really find it difficult to be your father because everything around me wants to hug you and hold you like we're buddies. But I'm going to tell you, I got to toe the line. And you have to take on these actions to accomplish these tasks, because it's my job as father to launch you in life, not keep you home. Okay? These are some of my ideas about parental, if you will, about being a good father. I do want to ask you to think about a couple of things, because those of you guys that are stepfathers, you know, I will tell you there's some things that can help you if you've walked into a family where there's children and those children aren't yours and you're trying to accomplish the idea. I think the greatest compliment you can have, if you're not the biological father, if where the kids say, can I call you dad? That's a huge compliment. So some of the things you can do to set up that, if you will, number one, be sure you have a warm, accepting environment. Go in there and understand these children that aren't biologically yours. You're just trying to want to start off with being friends. How do I get to know you? Show interest in those children, okay? Have a desire to share time. You got to set up time with those children. You got to go into that with the idea, maybe it's a Boy Scout club or a Cub Scout group, whatever it is. Come up with that idea, but you have to set time to spend with them. Remember, you're there because you fell in love with their mother, but they didn't fall in love with you. So a lot of times they're adversarial. They're going to reject you. Why? Because they got to sacrifice their time. You're taking mom away from me. Before you came around, mom was with me all the time. Now what the hell is this about? So, but you got to set time for them. And you got to do that time because you got to show a desire to be close, to accept you for who you are. You have to have the ability to emotionally bond. You heard me say this before, work relationships are 90% facts and 10% feelings. You know what? If you're having a problem being an emotionally present person, you may have to work through how to talk to children in meaningful emotional ways. You have to learn to talk to your kids about their feelings and what they're experiencing in school. Embarrassment, humiliation, success, accomplishment. You got to learn to talk about this stuff. Set time to be present, set time to validate them for who they are, and then you have to learn. I've got men right now that I'm working with that I'm asking, can you learn how to be emotional? I've got a video out there on YouTube. It's called The Emotionally Intimate Man. And it's a tutorial on how to feel. How do you learn to feel? I want to put the emphasis on time together. I want you also to identify the uniqueness in each child and begin to validate that, whether it's emotional strength, physical skill, some talent, whether it be music, but learn to validate each one of those. And then number one, the most important thing, it's okay for you to be resilient if they reject you, especially in the beginning stages. Just be resilient. No, it's a process, not a destination. You gotta work to get those kids back, and it does take time, okay? Hey, I'm Dr. Play. I hope you enjoyed this. My ideas about how you might work to be a good father, not just with those people that you're biologically connected to, but all those of you that have both. Thank you very much.